Hi, my name is Harshvardhan, and you're tuned into UrbanAsian.
Yay. Hey everyone, welcome to Urban Asian. My name is Krishna Parikh, and my next guest, he needs no introduction. He's done amazing work. He might as well be an athlete. Please welcome the amazing Harshvardhan Rane. Hi, Harsh.
Thank,
How are you?
thank you, amazing Krishna. Thank you so much, and thank you for being so kind with
Yeah,
many
no,
things.
thanks so much for making the time to chat with us.
No, it's my honor. It's a pleasure, and big shout out to Roshni and the whole team. And thanks to you for finding time. And yeah, I'm equally excited.
Yay. So I want to take you back in the beginning of your journey. You started off in like Telugu movies, television, and then you broke into Bollywood. Tell me about how it all started for you.
Uh, yeah, in like a flashback.
In a flashback, yeah.
It started from a very strong want to be to be inside what I was watching. I was watching something on the TV, and I very strongly wanted to be inside that and be doing what they are doing, and that's how it started. Then the obvious next move is always how to go there, how to go about it, and all those questions didn't have any answers because it was a very new kind of a career back then, and there was no Google, there was no Instagram, there was no contacts, nothing. So next best thing what I could do was maybe express, but then I felt the expression of such a strange craving or a want might be taken in a wrong way, or it might crush my dream. So I saved that, I hid it, and I kept it safe inside my heart. And then I observed, and I saw that, is there anyone who can understand what I'm going to say? And I saw no one. So what I did was I didn't speak at all. I just ran away. And I ran away and reached Delhi because Delhi was the closest metropolitan city, and the cheapest ticket which I could afford. I had around $200, and I think that's how everyone starts. Honestly, I don't
How old
see.
were you?
Sorry,
How old were you then?
I think I'm 16 or 17.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a big
and
plunge.
yeah, and I think that was in my genetics, or maybe I don't. That was my predisposition. That was how I was made to jump into things without thinking of what will happen, how it'll happen, and that's, I think, something which has stayed with me even now. So yeah, reach Delhi. Then when you reach a new city, when you've taken a decision to pursue something which cannot be described in words, what you want first, the first thing that you want is a meal. You want to eat something. And when you want to eat something, you need money, and for money, you need a job. For a job, you need qualification. I had none of this. So what can you do best? You can look around, ask people, request, beg, and I requested everyone for a job, and somebody took pity. His name was Sharma Uncle, and he gave me a job in STD booth,
Wow.
STD PO, and that's where I started. Before that, actually, he told me to just help the waiters in the kitchen because he had a mess where a lot of boys used to stay. It was kind of a hostel, kind of a mess, kind of a small rooms, a small building with many tiny rooms, which boys can afford when they're doing engineering or their first jobs and stuff like that. So yeah, I was helping the waiters back then. Then that gave me one meal a day,
Wow.
and that's when I started intermittent, which I
Fantastic from then.
that's now I can say that's my first introduction to intermittent fasting if I look back.
Yeah.
And from there, from helping the waiters to STD PCO, 10 rupees per day, which was a lot of money, buying my own meal, great feat. I felt really good that I was buying my own meal. I felt at the top of the world. I was like,
Wow.
yeah, I don't need anything. I don't need to convince anyone. I can buy my own meal, and that was a big milestone for me, I think. And then uh, after that, I think my handwriting was fairly okay. And then somebody noticed that because I used to maintain the register at the
Mhm.
PCO. Then somebody called me to a cyber cafe and said, You do the same job here, we'll pay you 20 rupees per day." So I was like, wow, that's two meals, maybe
Wow.
more food. And food is, I think now we read about Maslow's triangle, the pyramid, and we see
The
that these
hierarchy of needs.
yes. So but now when I look back, I was like, okay, so this is what I was looking for. I was looking for food, water, shelter. I was like, oh, all right. So I was not wrong. So those things were dominant back
Hmm.
then. Then as you achieve one slab, you go to the next slab. And then after that, I went to the next slab, which was Mumbai
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
And so I came to Mumbai with my ex-girlfriend back then, who's my best friend now, Meenakshi Das. And she, I think, apart from a few very key players in my life, she gets a big chunk of credit for pushing me into believing. And that, I think, was my introduction to uh, belief,
Hmm.
what we call the secret, the manifestation, and all these things. So
Hmm.
intermittent fasting done, manifestation done. These fancy words. Now, when I look back, I see that I was doing all these fancy things without knowing they were
Without
fancy things.
knowing what they are, yeah.
So yeah, so she introduced me to that, and then it got manifested somehow, and I started again. I did a lot of odd jobs. I don't want to talk about and romanticize them because I think everyone who does something new does a lot of odd jobs. So I
Yeah.
am not. I don't want to really speak about what all odd jobs I've done. I've done every possible thing
And
to
you
get.
enjoyed the journey. That's the main thing, right? Like you enjoyed every single piece of work that you did to get to where you are today. Is that a true statement?
Everyone does that. I
Yeah.
don't want to too much credit that, wow, look, I've done so many things. I think anybody who wants to do something new has to do uh, a lot of work.
And they have to
To
be uncomfortable.
They have to be.
Uncomfortable.
I don't know. I was very comfortable. I was I was very happy, and I don't think you have to be uncomfortable. I think if you really badly want to do something, nothing is uncomfortable for you.
That's true. That's true.
So then that happened, and then I was also assisting a DJ called DJ Nilesh, and then I was assisting a DJ called DJ Riku, and I used to call them Guru. And I they first my first job was to pick up their bag and clean it and
Assistant.
as an assistant to take the bags. It used to be a CD case because now they're all laptops, but back then.
Hmm.
So I used to carry the CD case, take them to the club, the pub, and then I used to start playing. The first 1.5 hours, I used to play normal stuff without really getting into heavy mixing and stuff. So then they used to enter, and then they used to do their thing. Anyway, so all that happened. Then I did some courier jobs. Uh, that's how I met John Sir, and I was delivering a helmet in Delhi, 2004, and the person who's receiving is John Abraham Sir, and
Wow.
suddenly I don't know how to react, and then his manager Shruti, she asked me to stay back at the lobby, and I thought maybe I made a mistake, or maybe there's a damage on the helmet or something has gone wrong. But little did I know that he wanted to just come out and thank me. I was
Oh, that's
I
sweet.
was blown that a guy of his stature has the time and mindfulness to thank a courier boy. That was, I can easily call that a defining moment,
Hmm.
and that made did made make an impact. And yeah, and then a few other odd jobs like those, and then I came to Bombay, and then Bombay again continued a few of the odd jobs. Um, uh, Bhatt Saab, Mukesh Bhatt Saab, I've just worked with him in one of the films 3 months ago, and
Mhm.
I've also delivered a CD in his office. So
Wow.
I reminded him of my boss, whose boy I was, whose runner I was. And I reminded him that, do you remember that person? And I used to deliver CDs for that person. And so then he remembered that boss. Obviously, he didn't remember me, but I told him what was happening in the office. I told him what was being discussed because I was sitting in the meeting right there and looking at him. And so yeah, done all that. And then I got an opportunity down south in for for a film, and that was Bharat Thakur sir and Bhumika ma'am. They gave me my first break down south, and then it had four boys, and they said there are four boys. Do you want to do it? I was like, I'll do, even if you give me a passing shot somewhere. I'm gonna do it because this is what I want to do. I want to be in films. I
Mhm.
did that, and then again, I didn't get work for a pretty long time because a lot of people wanted me to play the villain, and I didn't want to start my career like that, and
Mhm.
I never wanted to play something which never inspired me.
Right.
So I it was very simple for me. If it's not inspiring me, I don't want to play it. And
Mhm.
that, I can call it being silly, they can call it being silly, but it was just very strong from
Mhm.
inside me. I couldn't explain it. Again, just like when I was a kid.
I think you have to have that connect as well with what you're working in, right? So,
Yeah. For me, I need to, I think, have some, I don't know, it has to touch me somewhere. So
mhm.
only then I'm able to do something with complete, mindfulness.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I didn't do that. So 2 3 years I didn't get work because they all expected me to play the villain, and I couldn't. And then I had to take up a little bit of carpentry, buy old furniture, refurbish it, and sell them to rich people. And I did that. And yeah, these were a few hacks which I've used in life, even to learn English when I was in Delhi. A lot of people told me, if you can't speak in English, nothing is going to happen. Like, you can't do anything. That was a phase. That was a
Yeah.
phase in India, in those times, that this is what was being told to us. So then what I did was, I couldn't afford a English coaching class. So in Delhi, what I did was, I joined a domestic call center. From there, I got an international call center part time. And then
Wow.
every month they used to give me training, right, for English and global accent and things like that. So I took free coaching from them, and I
That's very creative.
and I used to leave the job after 1 month, take 1 month salary, and I did around 12 such jobs in call centers,
Wow.
just to learn basic communication skills. And it's still very difficult for me. I have to really work hard on forming my sentences and construct them. And I'm not embarrassed about that. But yeah, it's been a long journey.
No, it's
Trying
amazing. I am so inspired. That is crazy. What?
that was one of the hack. Another hack was, I was doing a little bit of carpentry back there and in Hyderabad.
Mhm.
And yeah, so when I look back and notice, I see myself as somebody who's never scared to improvise, or never scared to just stick with what I want to do. And
Mhm.
I don't wait for people to, to tell me if this is right or wrong. I just, yeah, so that happened. Then I did a few films in Telugu. Then 2015, I got a call for a film called Sanam Teri Kasam. I came here 6 months late because I was finishing my shoot in
Mhm.
Hyderabad. While by the time I came here, the boy was already cast. So the directors told me that, "Beta, you're late. Now you can leave." To which I was very heartbroken, and I told them that this is something which, again, I have really felt from inside. I cannot explain it to you, but I'll do it and show it to you. Please give
Mhm.
me a chance to just do an audition.
Mhm.
And they were like, it's of no use because the boy who we have cast is sitting in the next office and he's reading the script. And uh, I don't know what kind of defenses kicked in, what kind of mechanism happened in my head. I just didn't give up. I went all out, requesting them. I told them that I've read the synopsis and I think I really relate to this.
Yeah.
I really feel very strongly about this guy,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I know him. I know you have written him, but I think I really know him. I know it sounds silly and stupid. Please allow me, please. To which, after an hour, I think they got fed up of me and they were like, "Okay, just do it."
Just do
Just
something.
there was this AD called Ravi that gave him a camera and इसका audition करके भेजो इसको.
Mhm.
I think यही बोला होगा उन्होंने. So then I did the lift वाला scene.
Yeah.
कि मुझे लगा था कि भालू लड़का है.
Ah, that was so cute.
So I did that scene and the guy went inside. We showed them the thing, and then they came out, looked at me, and then they were like, "Do it again." Then I did the whole thing again. Then they went inside. They came out after 1.5 hours. I think they had tears. And Vinay sir came and hugged me. Ma'am doesn't show so much of emotion. Sir is a little expressive. He came and hugged me and he said, "बेटा, हमारा बहुत अभी प्रॉब्लम होने वाला है क्योंकि we have designed everything. The poster is being shot in 2 days. I don't know what you have done, but I think we are going with you, and we have to now inform the producers, everyone. We have to do the whole change. The costume has to be changed. The girl has already left. I don't know what." So
Wow.
then I was like, "Oh God!" And then yeah, that was that, and yeah,
And what an amazing role that was. I think you did justice to Inder. It's by, I think till date, I'm sure there's a lot more coming that we will talk about in the work that you're doing. But I think it's the most loved and the most watched movie. I've seen it many times. I know that. My mom has seen it many times. And we're like eagerly waiting for part two. So tell us about part two. Is that
yeah.
happening?
I'm on your side. Even I'm saying the same thing to the director. Like whenever they are those people for me. They are that kind of figure for me, with whom I do not really. I'm on a receiving end only. I do not ask questions,
Mhm.
and when I see them, I feel that I'm here because of them, and I have this whatever because of them. So I do not really ask, and then yeah. So as whenever they just give me the hint.
Fingers crossed soon. Well, let's then shift gears, right? Then I want to talk about Tara versus Bilal. That was a hit. Um, and also Tish, right? Like that was also very different in the sense that I think your characters were very unique and you pulled out like different sides of you in those movies. So tell me about your journey through Tara versus Bilal and digging into that complexity of that character because it's like in their same thing. Like he shows like this hard exterior, but he's really not this hard person. He's a softie inside, right? So tell me about those characters and your journey with them.
Because of all the new notes which are happening in my life right now, I found a lot of notes which I used to make for all the films.
Mm-hmm.
So this is for Tash. I don't know if I should show it to
Show
you.
me. I want to see what your process looks like.
So, but don't screenshot it and don't like, I
No,
don't know
no.
how it looks. So basically, what I do is I write where the character starts
Mm-hmm.
and where the character reaches. So the character starts in Tesh from stuck and reaches rage. So what I do is I use from his childhood to the climax. I use the all the events I use
So
to
you
reach.
link them together with the
Yes.
emotion.
Yes.
Wow.
So what I did was went to Pali's childhood in Tesh.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote about his father and mother, his what happened in his personal, like, young life, you know. Then I wrote about his school. Then I wrote about uh, how his relation was formed with Suki, his best friend. Then I wrote about that how he doesn't agree with the present business. From here, Bijoy sir's script gives me all the material, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's written from here, but I went 15 years back and I start from there.
Wow.
I built up. So if he starts from stuck and if he has to reach rage, I want to give him a progression. Correct? It should not just be in two scenes. He just became mad.
Yeah.
So I start from stuck. Then because he doesn't agree with the present business and his boxing career couldn't take off because he broke his hand. He
Mm-hmm.
wanted to become a boxer. So that make gives him a little bit of irritation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, from stuck, he has to reach rage. So from here, he goes to irritation. Then the girl that he loves is taken away from him. From there, from irritation, he goes to frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Then the family doesn't trust him because they think that he's the one who was who got the whole thing done to his elder brother.
Mm-hmm.
From frustration, he reaches anger.
Yeah.
Then Jassi is killed, his younger
Mm-hmm.
brother.
Mm-hmm.
That takes him from anger to rage. So level by level by level, I try to, So I also went into a little bit of the psychology. I've written intermittent explosive disorder can begin in.
Wow. You diagnosed him? Is that what
I
you did?
yeah. Then the things were environment, stress, financial issues, abuse, uh, poor familial situation, which is the situation at home,
Mm-hmm.
and also I added a little bit of hormonal. So I give him all these things.
Wow.
So similarly, I've worked on Tara versus Bilal has another. I've written
Oh,
letters to
so like this is amazing. This is like a I feel this is like exclusive content that you're sharing with me right now.
I had made a bubble, a pressure wall, imaginary pressure wall for Bilal, which nobody can enter. So it was around 2 feet. So if you now go back and notice, I am trying to just stay away from people and not let them touch me and not let them come close to me.
Right, right.
Starting from that, then the root cause of hurt is from hurt. He uses a mask of rudeness. So I wanted to justify his
Of
rudeness.
course.
It comes from the hurt, and basically I imagined a thread, a glass thread tied from the lower part of his head
Mm-hmm.
to the spine, to lower part of his spine.
Mm-hmm.
And that thread was his hurt and trauma. And I had to save that from the women because if that snaps, he's broken. So I gave him this fake machoism. I gave him this,
Hard exterior.
yeah, just to and alcohol and motorcycle. All these were just um, ways of getting away from that trauma. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, so lots and lots of stuff, conflict,
That is
agreement.
amazing.
Yeah. So and I've done the same thing for my new film with Bijoy sir. So
Wow.
yeah, I think I'm gonna now make a
This
fair copy of all of them and just keep them.
you should definitely these are like gems. I've never like this is such an in-depth process that you
Hmm.
have. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, I enjoy doing this for all the films that I'm doing, and yeah, I think there's a diary for every film, and
So you're really engrossed in your characters. Like you don't like you feel like I wouldn't call it like method acting, but like in a way, like you really understand who you're playing, basically.
Um, I don't know what to call it. I'm not from LA. I've not done some film studies in LA. I don't know if this is method acting, but I just want to um give the character reasons for why he's the way he's been written.
Mm-hmm.
He's been written, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get to meet the character halfway
Mm-hmm.
when the director has already written him.
Mm-hmm.
So when I meet the character, I want to give him reasons enough for why is he the way he has been written. That's all I do. So from there, I get some juice, and then I have to compensate. Basically, all these things that I do, I think it compensates for the bad acting that I
No,
do.
stop it. Stop it. There's no negative words here. You're amazing. So you talked about your upcoming projects recently. You have like 3, 4 films in the pipeline. Can you tell us anything about those films?
Yeah, why not? Whatever little I can talk about is that they are my favorite directors. Bijoy Nambiar, I think someone I don't have to think um, before working with him, and because he comes from a very pure place of filmmaking. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make films as projects. He makes films because he really strongly feels and he can fight to tell a story. He's that
Mm-hmm.
genuine a human being. So yeah, one film with him called Dange. It's about
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's about good stuff.
Good
So,
stuff.
yeah. And then that the look in Dange is going to be let's say if people enjoyed Pali from Tesh, the look
Mm-hmm.
in Dange will be around
Similar.
that level. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So he makes sure he gives me a very peculiar look,
Mm,
and a very peculiar look that he's given me in this film. So let's see.
can't wait.
Yeah. Next is then I finished a film called Miranda Brothers with Sanjay Gupta sir. Again, a legend. He, I think, presents his heroes in the most delicious uh,
That's
kind
a
of
nice
way.
word.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think I can use that freely because he does that, and he
Mm,
the way he his camera looks at you,
mm-hmm.
you feel good about being in front of the camera, and yeah, so he's all about cinema. He's all about projection, big action heroes. Will Smith, Tom Cruise. He's all about Mad Max. He's a lot about um, the power of inspiring through a heroic act or
Mm-hmm.
a heroic deed on screen. So he believes in inspiring people through that kind of a power. When there's a heroic deed on camera on screen, we do get affected, which is I think what happened with me when as a kid when I was watching the
Yeah,
television.
of course.
Someone,
Mm-hmm.
someone did that to me. So yeah, that has happened. Then there's a film called Kun Faya Kun, which we shot in the first wave of pandemic. It was shot in 2020, and everything was shut.
Mm-hmm.
But I already signed the film before that, so then they had to shoot the film because they can't wait for too long. So they shot it in one location, and it's a mind bending kind of a concept.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all I would like to say. The idea was very now the look and all. I'm looking very normal, and the character and all is also nothing that you wouldn't have seen. Like how I can surely say about Dange and Miranda Brothers, the look and feel is different.
Mm-hmm.
Character, this one, the character and the look is pretty normal, but the concept is a little mind bending. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I wanted to indulge in that. And that has happened. Then I've done recently, I've just finished my ninth Hindi film. So I call it F9. They can call it whatever they want when they decide. Right now, they haven't come up with, I think, the final.
Oh, I thought that was an actual name.
I wanted to clarify that. I call it F9 because it's my film number 9. So
Gotcha.
call it,
Okay.
I didn't want to call it H9. It sounds very narcissistic. So it's
Hmm.
film number 9.
Film 9. Okay. Get it.
So yeah, so that is a special appearance, and I really enjoyed being in that. Also, I think I gave myself completely into that because that was a space of surrender. That was a space of surprise for me.
Hmm.
Ki, okay, what is this? So it was like a new space for me. So I completely, when you're in a new space, you can either say no or you can surrender. So I surrendered.
Surrender.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I want to shift gears into a bit of your fitness, your nomadic lifestyle. You're always traveling and your nature photography. So tell me first about your healthy lifestyle. I know the fasting started years ago, right? So tell me how you stay motivated and disciplined and any tips for anybody who wants to, follow in your footsteps.
I personally feel that tips are um, useless because nobody gave me tips.
Mm,
You know, I feel if you really want to do something, you will find out ways to do it.
you just
You
do
will
it, yeah.
figure things out.
Hmm.
Tips is, I feel it's a one-sided interaction. Tips is when you're talking to somebody who doesn't want to do it. Because if they really want to do it, I can promise you they will find
Find
a
a
way.
way, yeah.
If they are just making excuses, then how much ever tips I give, it's not going to happen. So I don't believe in tips.
Okay.
I just feel you should just find out what you really want to do.
Hmm.
And if that is aligned with keeping yourself at the optimum, I'm not saying become an athlete, but just keep yourself at the optimum possible version of yourself. Whatever wherever you are, whatever you have, just be at the maximum level is
Hmm.
all I would suggest. And for that, now there's so much of education, there's so much of information, there's so much
Yeah,
of so there's no excuse right now. We are living in a time where there's no excuse to live an unhealthy
that's true.
life. And if I swear to God, if unhealthy life makes you happy, I will lose anything. I can promise you, being unhealthy choices may make you happy for exactly 5 to 7 seconds because it hits that dopamine receptor,
Hmm.
only for those number of seconds, and then it comes crashing slowly. If you can just
Yeah.
observe what happens to you after having something unhealthy,
Hmm.
you will feel amazing and the spike will go up. And then if you keep noticing, it will start crashing. And from there, it'll crash below where you started.
Hmm.
If you started at 50, it will now come to 40 or 30. So
Hmm.
now again, you have to spike it to now again a new spike starts and then it'll crash. And
It's a
then you're
cycle.
it's a cycle. Then you're
Yeah.
stuck in the cycle. And that's what it's a small thing, but it's a big thing. So I don't know how to explain it. I'm not an
Yeah.
expert.
I get it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my lifestyle, the summary of my lifestyle. I just want to be at the best possible, optimal, optimal place of whatever has been given to me
Hmm.
by. And for that, for everyone, that is different, and I respect that, and everyone should choose their different levels.
Hmm.
But there is no excuse right now to not be at your best.
Okay. So as an actor, you get to travel to so many different places, right? And I think what I learned about you is that you've always wanted to have your own camper van, right? And you got that built recently. And now that's you travel in that van and you're in like amazing places in nature. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so somehow my mind doesn't function normally how people think they want a house. My mind always told me that I want something which is movable, which
Hmm.
is moving from one place to another.
Yeah.
So basically this is house on wheels.
Hmm.
And yeah, so I've been working towards the idea. I've been working towards the construction, how to how would I want it to be, and all that has been happening for many years now. I think more than a decade. And finally, I got it done last year, and I got the delivery in the end of around December last year. And since then, yeah, I think
It
I
has
have a
everything. It has everything in there. Like it's amazing.
yeah, it is meant to be like that. It is meant to have a place where you can take a shower, where you can, you know, basically there's a proper washroom, and then there's
You
place
sleep
for
on the
storage.
top, like
So there's a
wow.
the bed comes down, you sit on it, press a button, the bed takes you up, and then the roof goes higher. So now you are sitting at the level of the roof, and you can
See
look around, take
everything. Yeah.
pictures and stuff like that. So that's something. Then there's a kitchen, there's the seating area, then there's a working area, there's a workstation, there is a closet for my stuff, and then there are a lot of cabinets for storage. And um,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
And I drive it, so I don't have a driver for it. So I'm the driver. So
Is it
there's
just
no
you like in that van? Like or you have like other buddies that join you in your trips and like you
so
do
I
stuff together?
so see, I'm not this party person who will, who will
Are you an
take.
introvert?
Sorry,
Are you an
I
introvert?
I think partly yes,
Okay.
and I think I'm a mix of introvert, and then I overcompensate sometimes by being extrovert, and then so
Same.
it's all yeah. So it's always a combination. I don't think anyone can be just one thing.
Just one. Yeah, that's true.
I think I'm a combination of that. So for me, I drive, and that was one of the first things that I wanted to tell the people who built the customization. So I told them that I don't want a television, I don't want Bluetooth music system, and I don't want all those fancy lighting. So there's none of that. There's very basic things, and which are required, which I require to live outside for many days
Mm.
in at a stretch. And I drive, so I told them I don't want a partition because I'm going to be the driver. They said, just make a partition, maybe you will use it. I said, no, I'm very clear. I'll be the driver, I'll be the cleaner. And so, yeah, that is that. And that is, I think, my house. So people who are watching this, people from my school who think I'm doing really well, and people who think that, अरे ये तो बिगड़ गया है, please guys, मेरे पास घर भी नहीं है. I don't even have a house.
Stop. like मैं van में रह रहा हूँ.
मैं van में रह रहा हूँ. So yeah, that is something which I never agreed with. Getting surrounding yourself with bricks. I never agreed with buying bricks and putting yourself inside it. I don't understand that idea. Yeah, I think maybe next life, but this life, I do not understand that stuff. So yeah, this is
Well, it's
this.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it's very courageous to be able to just like pack your bags and just go and move and like not everybody can do that, you know, and not everybody has the courage to do that. So I think kudos to you.
No, I
To
don't expect people to have the courage to do this or they should do this. Honestly, this is a very personal thing. It's a very
yeah,
personal choice, and they do many things which I can't do or I don't have the courage to do. I may not want to do them. So it's not something which everyone should do. I think
that's true.
people
Yeah.
people with some defect in their mind can do this. I'm doing this. So
I have the
definitely.
same effect. Okay, so tell me about your nature photography. You have become like over the years an amazing nature photographer. You have your own cameras and your equipment that you take around. Were you always interested in photography, especially nature photography?
Yeah, I want to definitely take this opportunity to thank this guy called Subbu from Hyderabad. He was the first guy who gave me his tiny Sony camera in my hands, and he said, I see that you like all this. Just take this and just go click." And he was my, I think, one of my first teachers in
Wow.
photography. I hope he sees this. Subbu, thank you. And not that I've won some awards, but yeah, I'm continuing to take pictures. So yeah, it's all that's where it started in Hyderabad. Subbu and Shruti, they used to be very kind to me with their gear, and Subbu used to always answer my silly questions, and So yeah, that's where it started. 2000, I think 9 is when it started, and then it's been, yeah, I've been clicking, and I like clicking portraits, and I like clicking birds, but birds is very difficult, and the lenses are very expensive, so I'm not
Mhm.
very good at it. But yeah, I manage a little bit.
I've seen
And
your pictures. They're amazing.
technically, they're not. You would like them, but photographers will not.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying because there's people who are more experienced, but I
Yeah.
feel like starting something new and being where you are, I think you should completely take this win, okay?
I like clicking animals because they are unpredictable. I like to play with unpredictability. I
Mhm.
like to I like to respond to unpredictability, and so I enjoy clicking animals because I you never know when they'll give you a moment.
So I want to get into who is Hirsch, right? Can you describe yourself? This is like, I mean, I don't want to limit you to just 3 words, but can you describe yourself in 3 words?
Yeah, somebody who wants to learn, somebody who likes unpredictable things coming at him,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody who wakes up to grow.
Mm,
Yeah, I think,
okay.
yeah,
I think that sums it up,
learn, respond, grow.
bro. That's amazing. Nice. And if not acting, then what would you be doing?
Carpenter, because definitely they're better photographers than me. Yeah.
Okay. Um, and then on a personal level, is there anything that like keeps you up at night? Like, do you worry about anything or you just sound asleep and you're like ready to go to work and work out?
There's an exclusive insight for you. I sleep within 30 seconds.
Wow, that's
Within 30.
amazing. How do I get that superpower?
I don't know if it's a superpower or not, because I think people who think are also great, because I think they're thinking about good stuff. But when I shut down, my brain just goes and then I'm gone. So
It's like a switch, right?
I want to show you my resting heart rate for today. Can you see it? It's
Yeah,
46.
46. Wow.
So this is something which I'm really, really happy about in my life, that my resting heart rate is really low. And for people who don't know, I'm not a I'm not an expert or a doctor to make you understand. Just Google it. It's something which is good for good. It is a biomarker of showing that your heart is in a good condition. That's all
Mm-hmm.
I would want to say. Because sometimes people get worried saying, कि, "अरे इतना कम sir, क्या हो गया? Are you okay?" So, it's rather it's the other way around.
It's
If
the
your heart,
calmness in your body, I think. Like your body's at comfort and you don't like you're not worried about anything.
yeah.
Your mind's not working.
Also, your cardiovascular scenario is really good. Your heart is really healthy, that it's pumping less number of times and it's doing the same job that someone else's heart is doing at 80, 90 beats per minute.
Mm,
So my heart only needs to beat 46 times a minute to do the same job which somebody else's heart will take 80, 90 beats per minute. So
wow. Congratulations on this achievement.
this is a win. This is a win. I'll take this.
That's awesome. And what is your dream role? And who is your dream co-actor? If do you have any?
Dream role would be to be a beneficial actor. I don't want to do work. I don't want to work at my own whims and fancies. I don't want to do this kind of role, that kind of role. I'm not here to, satisfy my creative uh, uh, areas and corners and things. But I want to be that actor who a producer, if they put money on my film, they should make profits. They should make.
Mm-hmm.
That is my only and only dream role ever. I'm not here to do something personal for myself only. I'm here to be a part of the business, of the system, and yeah, give the happiness to the audience while my producer is also happy. That's the balance which I want to strike.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And any words for your fans, for all the people that love you across the world?
I think you guys are equally uh, defected just the way I am, because if you like my work, there's something wrong with you. And thank you for being defected. Thank you for being, that's really special for me. And I um, do respect my gut feeling a lot in life. I do respect how uh, uh, my mind takes lead and takes care of my journey. And I this because of that, I think I respect your choice. And if you like the stuff that I do, it just builds a slight bit of responsibility with every film. And I really, really pray that I, with every film, make you smile a little wider. That's
Yay, that's awesome. Thank you. I
Mm.
want to play a little game really quickly
Yeah,
if you have time,
I
called
do.
This or That.
Yeah,
Okay, it's gonna be very few questions, but just to get to know you a little bit more. Okay, you ready?
yeah, ready.
Coffee or chai?
Chai,
Early mornings or late nights?
late nights,
Okay. Are you most likely to be in the mountains or by the water?
mountains.
Okay. Audiobooks or
But
movies?
when you say by the water, it doesn't mean rivers, right? Because rivers are greater than mountains. If you mean beach, then
Beach.
definitely
I meant a beach, yeah.
mountain.
Okay. Audiobooks or movies?
Audiobooks.
And what is your ideal date?
Ideal date
Mm,
when you can be as real as you can. Zero filter, zero thinking, zero trying, zero effort, mm, zero trying, basically.
mm.
That
It's
I think
very rare these days, I would have to add. That's, yeah. You want to
that
add
is
anything?
human. That is human, right? That is, I
Mm.
think, very human to be at your rawest possible form, and yet be be connected to each other.
That's true. That's true. Well, this was wonderful, Hirsch. Thanks so much for making the time to chat with me. And I want to wish you all the best for your upcoming projects. I cannot wait to see. Oh, really quickly, are they releasing this year or 2024? What are the release dates? Do you know?
So this scenario right now forces the actor to actually lose the control after you're finished with the film,
It's
because right
okay.
now the
Understood.
producers are taking the lead, and there's a lot of calculation going on. It should go to OTT, should it come to the theater first, should it come to the theater and then go to OTT, or maybe OTT and then theater first, then theater later.
A lot
So
of logistics, yeah.
there's some 7 8 types of combinations. So you can't afford to track it. You can't possibly humanly track it. So
Mhm.
I just pray and request all my producers that they should all be safe and sound and make some profits. And my directors, I know they want it to release as much as I want them to release. So I do not go and ask them and bother them. I just
Okay.
let them be.
Okay. Well, whenever they come out, we cannot wait to see all your upcoming projects. I hope they do really, really well in the box office and we keep seeing more of you.
Yeah, whichever box office right now, even OTT is a box office. So
That's
wherever the producer should be happy, he should call me again. I think that's my box office. Because if he's not happy about something, they would not call me back. And most of my directors and producers are calling me back. So that's something which is I'm very grateful for.
keep manifesting
Yeah, right. And intermittent.
and fasting. Manifesting and fasting. That's it.
Manifest fast hashtag 2 words from
Right?
this.